what we get out of community as human beings. I think it's something that we've all been missing in the last year, incredibly. And part of the attraction of a place like Folkestone is the kind of incredible artist community that is there. There's a lot going on in Folkestone, which is really lovely. We are one of the largest specialist children's publishers in the UK, and we have a really broad portfolio of books for children. So we go from babies right up to teens, and we publish fiction, non-fiction, picture books, and we also have a real host of star name characters on our list as well that we're very proud to publish. So we are the home of Mr. Men, Winnie the Pooh, to name a few. Earlier in 2020, in around May time, we actually announced that we had been acquired by HarperCollins Publishers. And 1 year on from that sort of acquisition process, we really wanted to sort of relook at who we were, redefine who we were with our new future in front of us. So we wanted to come up with a new name to reflect that.
So Sarah from Egmont came to us, I think because they knew they were going to have some sort of visuals to accompany the rebrand.
She wanted to do a project that would engage with the community in some way, and she'd seen what we'd done with the sand art and the pebble poppies and came to us asking what ideas we could come up with. Initially there was a discussion about doing sand art.
It quickly changed because we realised that March wasn't a very good time to do sand art, so we sort of took it indoors, and that's how we developed the Paper Beach project. The painting was created with lots of different layers of paint just to build up the texture. I used pen to create lots of tiny, tiny little pebbles. And then what I tend to do is I use a very, very small paintbrush to make splashes of paint for the sea splash. And that is done over and over again to build up lots and lots of different layers of splash.
That was then taken away to a local guy, Rob, who photographed it in several sections.
42. And then we're going to take as many photos of it as possible, join those photos together to make one big picture that should be really high resolution.
We asked people to answer a simple question. So we asked them to tell us, where does reading take you?
Where does reading take us? Over mountains, through strange lands, into different times.
And it was very simple to take part, so people just had to take an A4 sheet of paper, a black pen, and just answer that question. And if they didn't want to write it, they could then actually get out their laptop and type it.
I mean, COVID was already around when the project started, so we weren't really ever going to be able to actually go into schools.
But we didn't know that at the beginning of January, when we were launching the project with the schools, that they would be closed.
The entries at first just weren't coming in.
We put a lot of effort into Facebook and Instagram and on social media.
It's a great way to get children thinking and talking about books, while at home or in the classroom.
Now I'd like to share our latest picture from the Totalometer as we see how we're doing getting closer to those 3,000 entries for the Paper Beach project. Yes, we're definitely going in the right direction, but we've still got a way to go.
With our original plan, we were looking at 3,000 entries, and we got to a point where, being pragmatic and being practical about this, we realised we weren't going to get that number. So we revised down to 1,500 entries, and we felt that was as achievable.
I think people saw the deadline, saw the opportunities. There was a weekly competition.
And this was great. This encouraged the schools, and this was the pupils, but also the teachers as well.
Their work could end up next to Julia Donaldson's or Michael Mapurgo's.
As you can see from our countdown to 1,500 entries, we're more than halfway there.
But in the last week or so, things started to change.
Once the ball got rolling, the entries came flooding in.
We ended up with 2,400 entries. We had entries from all 5 continents, over 26 different countries around the world, several countries across Europe, so Italy, France, Germany, Spain. So they took in the entries and they had meticulously planned out a sort of a grid of the image that they had taken from the original painting that was then photographed in high definition and then split out into the grid.
This is our entire canvas, so the white area, that's what the final image will be. And here's one of the tiles that's been photographed. So if we zoom right in, you can see how much resolution we're working with, these giant images. So each of these tiny pieces adds up to create this one giant image. But the final element to add is the logo, because obviously it's an important part of it, but also all the other pages and the artwork and the entries for everyone is also extremely important. So this will be a page of A4, of which the design will then be superimposed.
Each one of those slices then had a submission put on top of, embedded into it. So it was making sure that you would see the submission shining through, coming through from the artwork itself. So it was a lot of Photoshop work, basically layering the backgrounds, making sure that there was enough bleed for the printers.
So we have a total of 3,096 pages of paper, and they will be formed together to create a total design of 18 metres wide and I think it's about just over 10 metres high. So they've delivered their first batch, so we've had a chance to have a look at what our digital artwork now looks like physically on those pieces of paper as we're testing the process.
The process and stuff we've pretty much got nailed down, so I'm sort of happy with that. I think it's the added scrutiny of it being live streamed.
I think that's probably the biggest challenge, just making sure we stay on track with the timing. Other than that, I think it should be okay.
It's all about that timing with the live event.
Hello and welcome to the Paper Beach live stream. You have joined us today at a very exciting time.
The main thing really is timing. It's making sure that we're hitting our 10-minute mark.
We've had quite a lot of schools and individuals checking in on the live stream so far, so we know that lots of people are watching us, which is brilliant.
As you can see, we are coming on strong.
It's really, I think, really appropriate that she has the honour of laying that last page.
Amazing.
Although this is about reading and celebrating the magic of reading, it was also an opportunity for people to express that in different ways.
You know, and then going into the Egmont archives afterwards. So it's a piece of history, effectively.
I think it's absolutely vital to make community art.
And it's actually been so amazing getting the comments and the messages in from people that clearly it does resonate with people as well. They've been missing that contact, and actually being able to be a part of something that's slightly bigger than the lockdown world we all found ourselves in, I think has just been magical.
So I personally am going to be just incredibly proud of me and my work, but just incredibly proud of all of us that we will have pulled it off.